Hey guys, this is just a review of the GPD Pocket 2 Amber Black uh, edition, which I just got off of Indiegogo, and I thought I'd make this video for anyone else who was curious and didn't pick one up. Um, so I, so overall, I think the device is okay, and I'm actually glad I got the low-end version, not the high-end version. Shipping was fast. I think they said they shipped it last week, and I got it yesterday. I had it for a day now. So that was actually pretty fast considering, that shipped from China to America. uh, Overall, build quality seems pretty good. One of the questions I had was whether the Amber Black Edition was actually plastic or aluminum, and it actually, I think, is aluminum. When I got it, it was really cold and feels like aluminum, so that's good. That was one thing I was wondering about, and you can tell it's a little. It's kind of like space gray, I'd say, not quite black, which actually looks pretty good. So build quality is good. No real seams anywhere. Keyboard is fine. It's not great or anything, but it works. I'd say it's on par with the MacBook style butterfly switches, although it has a little more travel. It's definitely not something you can touch type on. It's a little too small, and you could probably get used to it, but it's not something that you could touch type on out of the box, I'd say. And the little mouse pointer here is actually pretty good. It's surprisingly accurate and sensitive, and using it all the time feels good. The one issue I did have, though, is with the touchscreen. Out of the box, the touchscreen had this issue where it would basically have ghost touches, which is I wouldn't be touching the screen or doing anything, but it would be clicking around randomly, and it was driving me nuts, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. It basically made the whole computer unusable, and I restored the computer. I did a factory reset and did a Windows update. One of my theories was maybe that the fan was blowing on the screen, so I turned off the fan. None of that worked, and what it turned out to be was I just needed to update the drivers, and so you don't do that through Windows Update. I had to go to the GPD website, download the drivers, install them. It said installation failed, but actually after I did do the install and restart, it did fix the ghost touch issue. So I was worried about that, but that seems to be fixed by just updating the drivers from the GPD website. So even though the ghost touch issue is fixed, the actual touchscreen is not that great. And to demonstrate, let me go into Paint here. Basically, on the left side of the touchscreen, it doesn't register touches on all the way. So if I start drawing here, just to demonstrate. Oops. Let's see. So I'll just start drawing here. You can see on the right side, I can go all the way to the edge. That's fine. But on the left side, no matter where I touch, you cannot get your touch to register all the way on the edge. So it's a little bit annoying because if you do a lot of web browsing or just a lot of stuff on Windows is actually on that margin on the left side, and it's basically impossible to click on with the touchscreen. So that's a little bit annoying, and it's hard to tell here, but there's also a bit of an accuracy issue on the left side. So on the right side, if I draw a line, it will appear under my finger. If on the left side, it's hard to tell, but the line is a little bit to the it's a little inaccurate. It's a little offset a little bit to the left. So that's also not too good. So the touchscreen is problematic. Not too accurate, and pretty much it's only useful for scrolling. And if you need to do any clicking, you pretty much have to use the mouse. So that's disappointing, but you know, for a $400 device, that's acceptable, I suppose. Other things I was wondering about before I purchased this were what the fan noise would be like, and so I'll turn it on now. And basically, there's if you put it really close to you, you can hear the fan, but I can't hear the fan right now, even though it's on, and you probably can't in the video. It's about as quiet as a MacBook Air fan from the old style MacBook Airs from a few years ago, to give you a comparison. But on top of that, I've noticed I don't actually need to use the fan, so I keep it off all the time. You know, I can run YouTube, Chrome, all that stuff, and keep the fan off, and it doesn't get too hot. It gets a little warm, but not too hot, and everything works fine at full speed, it seems. And performance-wise, the other thing I was curious about was whether it would be fast. And after a few days of web browsing, it seems to be pretty fast. It'll play YouTube videos at full speed, full resolution, no problem. It's actually faster than my MacBook from 2015, and I think it's because the updated Intel chips have a better video card that can decode the video faster. But everything else aside, there's no. Everything seems pretty smooth. Again, for a, I was worried that the Celeron processor would be slower than the Core whatever processor on the upscale model, but it seems to be fast enough for me, and just as fast as my MacBook from a few years ago. The other thing I was wondering is on this lower end model, what the RAM usage would be, and you can see here that the memory usage it hovers around 2 gigabytes, and this is, you know, I have Chrome open now with YouTube in 2 tabs, and that's pretty good. Again, I was concerned because if you have like a Windows machine with 8 gigabytes, which is pretty normal these days, and you open up this screen, it shows that it's using, you know, almost 4 gigabytes all the time. But it seems like Windows 10 in this case knows that this is a low memory machine and kind of scales that down accordingly. So that's good. And I haven't had any issues with memory. I had, you know, earlier I had a lot more stuff running, you know, Windows subsystem for Linux running, and it still hovered around 2 gigabytes and did not hit the 4 gigabyte limit. So that's good. So yeah, I think overall it's an okay device. It's a little less usable than I had anticipated. They would probably need to put in a much nicer touchscreen, or maybe fix the drivers. I don't know, to get it to that level where you can use this as your daily driver. But overall, for $400, I'm pretty happy with it. And if I have any more updates, I guess I'll make more videos. And yeah, hope this is helpful and interesting for anyone who had seen this on Indiegogo and was wondering about it. All right.